Well, welcome everybody. Let's begin as we always do by finding a comfortable seat. Your comfortable seat, again, is one that is sustainable and that gives you an access to your ability to breathe. Right? So it's less about there being a perfect posture in the old sense. The yogis would say that the postures that were chosen for meditation were ones that kind of forced you to stay upright, that just kept you upright so that your mind could go somewhere else. Right? That the rest of your awareness could go somewhere else and not be focused on keeping you upright. So can you find a position that allows you that feeling of freedom, where you are able and willing to let your awareness go somewhere else? Right? Instead of just focusing on what does my seat look like. So find that. You can use whatever props you need. And then start to let yourself drop into the experience of the breath, noticing the quality of your breath. I want you to relax everything in your body that doesn't need to be engaged. So soften your ribs, relax your shoulders. Again, there's no perfect position that's going to make meditation easier. Notice the quality of your breath. Notice the quality of your mind. What we're doing with meditation is we are looking to have there be a communion or a uniting of the breath and the mind. It's one of the ways in which we enter into that meditative state. There's the quality of your breath, the quality of your mind. This is where you begin. Meditation is not intended to change any of that. Bringing the awareness to the inner state is where we begin to understand the entrance into what is beyond that. Uniting the mind into the flow of breath. Now, as you begin to breathe, as you breathe and you inhale, come all the way to the top of the breath and pause. And then exhale, release the breath all the way out, and at the bottom of the breath, pause. And inhaling, come all the way to the top of the breath and pause. Exhaling, down to the bottom of the breath and pause. And continue like that, inhaling to the top of the breath and pause. And exhaling to the bottom of the breath and pause. Entire practice of building your awareness. The habitual action of the mind is something that you have the ability to move within. So that subtle action that you are able to pause your breath means that in that moment of pause, the mind pauses also. Keep breathing, finding that pause at the top of the inhale and the top of the bottom of the exhale. If there is space within your mind for quiet, there's already space within your mind for silence, the present. Instead of being aware of the contents of the mind, can you be aware of the space of the mind? And with your next inhale, bring the breath up, your awareness up to the crown of your head, the top of your head. And exhale the breath all the way down to the base of the spine. Now you're going to breathe cyclically with no pause in between. So you're trying to find that flow of breath where there is no pause. So the inhale is following the breath up, the awareness up the spine to the crown of the head. The exhale is following the breath down to the base of the spine. No pause. Inhaling all the way up, exhaling all the way down. Eliminate the pause. You're falling into the full flow of the breath with no pause. There is no restriction, no obstruction. Just letting the breath flow, the inhale into the exhale into the inhale. No pause. And begin to bring your awareness back to the edges of your skin. Instead of just the flow of the breath, you feel the vessel of the body. I'm aware of your seat again. And then begin to let the eyes float open. Those early or those beginning practices of pranayama, we use pranayama as the stepping stone to get into the nuances of the mind. Right? Because before we begin meditation, the mind often feels like it's just out of control. It's doing whatever it wants to do, and we have no control over it, no ability to do anything with it. So pranayama is where we are breathing the capacity, we are increasing our capacity for breath, but we're also increasing our awareness of how our breath affects our mind. Right? That the mind and the breath start to become one and the same. And in yogic terms, we say that they're both prana, right? So if you are expanding the prana of your breath, as you are expanding the way the prana of your mind moves, right? You're changing it. And that your ability to pause in the breath means that you have the ability to pause your mind. And your ability to go completely into the flow of breath means that you are also able to let go completely to where there's no obstruction in your mind. Right? Because both of those methods, both of those awarenesses are a way to enter into the meditative state, right? Is our knowledge that we have the ability to maneuver within our mind, that's building awareness, the witness, but also that ability to let go completely and know that your mind will bring you to meditation, right? So there's a difference between letting it run rampant, right, and ignoring what it's doing, and being so in the flow of breath, being so in the flow of the universal mind, right? Your mind becomes united in that you start to move into the meditative state, right? So what we do with our breath is that we are becoming more aware of how the mind is working and the ability to move where the mind, how the mind is moving based on what you're doing with your breath. Right? So do a little moving if you have to. Change your seat if you feel the need. Good. And then we're going to do a little alternate nostril breathing. So again, find that comfortable seat. If you need something, as we have the arm up, you need to prop it on something or have it hand folding underneath it, you're welcome to do that. But bring the right hand up into a loose fist. You're going to curl, or you're going to extend thumb, ring, and pinky finger. The middle two fingers, you have the option to place here at the third eye, so the space between the eyebrows, or you can curl those fingers in towards the palm of your hand. Either one is great. So you're choosing your hand position, you're inhaling the breath, and then you're going to close off the right nostril with your thumb, exhale out through the left. Good, and then inhale through the left nostril, close off with the ring finger and pinky, exhale through the right. And then inhale through the right, close off, exhale through the left. Good, inhaling through the left, close off, exhale through the right. Good, continue like that, alternating as you are breathing. Good. The benefits of this breath is that it balances both sides of the nervous system, the active and relaxing. It stimulates two of the main energy channels that run through the body and run through the mind. When those two energy channels are both equally open, no obstructions, the mind starts to come into better balance. There's greater clarity. That space of the third eye is where it said your absolute consciousness rests. In Tantra, they say it's where Shiva sits. It's your feeling of absolute consciousness. What is beyond all of the movement of the mind. By using this breath, you are helping to balance the energies of the mind and the subtle energies of the body, that you start to become aware of, united with absolute consciousness. It's okay if you forget what nostril you're on, just start again. Stimulating the space of the third eye, stimulating Nidra and Pingala nadis. The sun and the moon, masculine and feminine. And next time you exhale out through the right nostril, the hands relax back to your knees, you relax. And pause for a moment with your awareness at that space of the third eye. And feel it expand as though in front of your vision, your inner vision, there is a huge dark movie screen. And onto that screen, just watch. Whatever thoughts happen to flow across that screen, whatever perceptions, whatever impressions. Just watch. The contents of the mind are often the unexplored or the unnoticed interpretations of your life. Feelings, memories, ideas. They express themselves in incomplete ways, dramatic ways, subtle ways. You watch the movie of your mind and know that you are watching. You identify yourself as the one who is watching. And then begins to let that screen go blank again. And back to the feeling of your breath flowing, inhale into exhale, exhale into inhale. And then let your eyes float open. And awareness to the outside world, but keeping the inner spaces spacious. Good. Do a little movement if you need. And the last thing we're going to do is I'm actually going to have you lie down on your backs. It's a little relaxation that's often done as a prelude to Yoga Nidra, so we're not doing a full Yoga Nidra. But it's one of the relaxation techniques for that. You don't have to be on your back if you don't have space to lie down, but it's nice if you can lie on your back. Remember, the goal is not to fall asleep, but it is to allow yourself to go into a relaxed state. As you come to lay on your back, again, you can have props underneath you if you need. You can have blankets covering you. Ideally, you would have your legs stretched out in front of you, but again, whatever is available. Good. Bring your awareness to the feeling of the floor beneath you or your seat beneath you. The heaviness of it. Your awareness to that idea of heaviness. Full attention on heaviness. Your whole mind, the idea that you are heavy, heavy, heavy. And release that thought and instead put your mind on the idea of light, a feeling of lightness. So light that you could float up off of the floor. All of your mental attention is on the idea of lightness. And release that thought. Instead, bring your attention to the idea of cold. All of your mental attention on the feeling of being cold. Feeling of coldness, the reality of cold. Then release that thought and put your attention on the idea of heat. All of your mental attention on hot heat. And release that thought and just come back to openness of the mind. And in your inner eye, begin to imagine that there is a ball of light at the navel center. As you're breathing, you're going to follow that ball of light down from the navel to the center of your pelvis and out to the edge of your right hip. Follow the light down to the right knee, the right ankle, down into your right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, baby toe. And follow that light back up to the right ankle, up to the knee, up to the hip. As the light leaves that leg, feel the leg relax completely. Following the light back to the center of the pelvis and out to the edge of the left hip. Follow it down to the left knee, down to the left ankle, down into the left big toe, baby toe, third toe, fourth toe, baby toe. Follow the light back up to the left ankle, left knee, up to the left hip. As you leave this leg, feel it relax completely, following the light back to the center of the pelvis. You inhale the breath, follow the light up through the navel to the center of the chest and out to your right shoulder. Follow the light down to the right elbow, down to the right wrist, down to your right thumb, first finger, second finger, third finger, pinky finger. Follow the light back to the wrist, back up to the elbow, back up to the shoulder. As you leave this arm, allow it to relax completely, following the light back to the center of the chest and out to the edge of your left shoulder. Follow the light down to the elbow, down to the wrist, down into the left thumb, first finger, second finger, third finger, pinky finger. Follow the light back to the wrist, back up to the elbow, back up to your shoulder. As you leave this arm, allow it to relax completely, following the light back to the center of the chest. As you inhale the breath, follow the light from the chest up to the space of the center of your throat and back down to the chest. Every breath, you follow the light to the space of the throat and back down to the chest. On the next breath, you follow the light up to the space of the throat and then further all the way up to the space in the middle of your forehead, the third eye. In the space of your forehead, follow the light out to your right temple, down along the edge of your jaw, to the tip of your chin. Follow the light up through the center of the mouth to the tip of the nose, and back up to the space between the eyebrows. Follow the light out to the left temple, down along the edge of the left jaw, down to the tip of the chin. Follow it up through the center of the mouth to the tip of the nose, and back up to the space of the third eye between the eyebrows. Every breath, feel the light pulse, space of the third eye. On your next inhale, feel the breath move from the space of the forehead up to the crown of the head. And from the crown of the head, as you inhale, you feel that light extend beyond the top of your head. And the exhale brings it back to the crown. Every inhale, the light extends beyond the crown of the head. And every exhale brings it back to the crown. Breathing into the infinite beyond you, and breathing the infinite back into you. You are one and the same as that infinite space. The next breath, you bring your awareness of that light back to the crown of the head. Follow it down to the space of the forehead, down to the center of the throat, down through the center of the chest, and all the way down back to the navel. And everywhere the light has touched, completely relax. It's just you and the breath, you as the breath. It's just you and that light, you as the light. And begin to let all of the conscious imagery fade. And the awareness back to the feeling of your skin, your clothing, the floor beneath you, temperature of the air, the sounds in the space around you. And begin to let movement come back to the body, fingers and toes. And as you're ready, start to draw the knees in towards the chest. And again, if you're not willing to get up, you're welcome to just stay there. I'll leave you there. If you are coming up to sit, find your way back to your seat. Hands on the knees or the thighs, palms face down. Place your palms down. Again, the idea that there is a drawing the infinite into this finite form. That meditation is a recognition of you being united with that infiniteness. But to live in this world, you have to be grounded in your physical self. You go out or you go in to find that infiniteness, and you bring that infiniteness home. That your mind knows that that's what it is. And your heart knows that that's what it is. There's no confusion anymore. There's the answer to that question, who am I? You are that, capital T. We practice meditation for that realization. That's it. And nothing in you has to change for you to be united with that infinite self. We practice pranayama as a way to understand how our own energy is moving and to know that you have the ability to unite your mind, to move within your mind. You are that. Bring the hands together in front of your heart center, please. Rub your palms, another way to bring yourself again into your body, into your body, into your body. Fully connected, infinite self in this finite form. Steady the palms at your heart. Drop your chin towards your chest. It's always letting yourself be in gratitude that you are exploring the edges of what you know so that you can know that you are everything. And then sliding those thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to unmute you so you can tell me how that went. I don't know if I can figure out the buttons.